We are live.
Are we?
Hey, check this out. So we did. Is the camera crooked? Wait, hold on. Wait, is that crooked or is that straight? That crooked?
Either way.
Like that, huh? All right. Let me know if it's crooked.
It's good.
Yeah, we're live. Hey, so they're running late. We supposed to start at 6. We're supposed to start at 5:30. Thank y'all for tuning in. East County Voices. Yeah. I put 5:30. I didn't know. I thought it said 6:30.
We're on time.
But okay, we got the right time, y'all.
Do people know what we're doing here today?
I hope so. No, let them know.
Happy Saturday. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you're not here today, hopefully you can catch up and hear about what's going on in this forum. This forum was put on by Reimagine Antioch and a coalition of people to attend and invite the community for this community candidates forum. As you know, it is the election year, and in about 2 months, we got 60 days of getting to know our future electeds. We have 60 days of getting our asks together of what we want for our community. So yeah, that's what it comes down to. You're just learning about our potential candidates, and this is a beautiful space that Delta Bay Church provided. We have the NAACP youth in the building too. Reimagine Antioch. Yes. These forums are so important because this is our community, and we want to make sure that whoever is going to be making decisions on our behalf is for our behalf. So that's about it.
So stay tuned, y'all. Be patient. We're gonna start. Hey. I know that one.
That is Addington.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We got Addington in the building. We have Antoine Webster in the building. We saw Lamar Thorpe in the building. Who else do we have? We have some amazing community orgs out here. I saw Rising Juntos in the building.
They came?
Yeah. Look, we got Rising Juntos in the building. We got the whole Reimagine Antioch team, which is a coalition of parents, moms, dads, prayer warriors, kids.
And last but not least, we got East County Voices.
Oh,
we got East County Voices.
I
appreciate all
the last minute.
That's coming out. Make y'all wait in here. It's 6:30. It's hot. Get some water. Get some fans.
We got Miss Tiki in the building.
Is that cricket?
Keep going. Keep going.
One
more.
Here.
Perfect.
Right there.
So yeah, give me like 5 more minutes, and then we are going to get started. Let me get everybody in.
5 more minutes. Oh wait, dang it! I did all that. I gotta go back this way. Hey.
5 more minutes.
We got 5 minutes, so you know that means 10 minutes. So anyway, we got Lamar over there. Some people over there. And some more people behind me laughing. I love this church because they got the free fans here.
It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
A very good cuss. Hello there.
How you doing?
We're live on East County Voices right now. So happy to see you. And
can't wait to get on the show.
Yes, we're ready. Yeah, anytime. And if Thursdays don't work, we can schedule outside of that
The
too.
only Thursday that won't work is next week. But any other Thursday.
Okay, so next week we'll probably do community updates. We want to speak to the woman who lost her daughter on the bicyclist.
Oh, yeah, please do that.
So we'll do that next week, and then you can do the following week.
Yeah, I feel so bad for her, man. Every city council meeting, my heart breaks every time. And it sucks that we can't get our police departments to do more to help her.
Yeah.
I really feel bad.
I have to send it over to the DOJ. She's a new public or a community member not getting the public services that she deserves.
Start with the mayoral race. And then we probably have like 10 minutes, 20 minutes intersection, and then we're gonna get our city councils out here. It looks like we're gonna have District 2 and 3 here with us tonight. I'm so excited.
All right.
Yeah, that's something. That's so silly.
All right, you guys. Oh wait, I'm over here. All right, you come up talking to the camera and the microphone's on this side. I'm glad you guys can't see me. Be nice. They can ask questions. They got questions.
Oh,
already.
we can ask Tiki.
We're gonna find out if y'all can ask questions.
Tiki.
Okay.
All right. Looks like we have everybody in the building. Once again, thank you guys for coming out and taking the time to hear from our from our future leaders and our mayor. Just want to let y'all know he is in the building right now. Thank you for your attendance. I want to thank you guys for responding to our emails and responding to the calls, because the community we vote and we would love to hear from you guys. So it's not an attack. This is going to be a safe place. We're going to ask questions. We hope that you guys answer at the best of your ability, so that when we vote, we will be informed voters. So, my name is Tiki Flo. I'm the lead organizer of Reimagine Antioch. I've been in Antioch for 12 years. We are a campaign under the 70 Term Project. Under the 70 Term Project. Oh, excuse me. Of individuals. So we have community members. 70 Term is made up of community members. 70 Term is made up of organizations. 70 Term is made up of just those who love our community, who love the underserved. So we go out. So far, we've been up and running three and a half, maybe 4 years. We've served over 300 houses with toys, Thanksgiving drives. We've done community resources event. We've had get out the vote, registering people to vote. So we've been out here for the last 4 years. But Antioch has experienced a great transformation as well as great challenges when it comes to moving our community toward safety, equity, and belonging. This community forum is an effort to hear from and try to understand our neighbors who wish to lead the city of Antioch. Our hope is that after today, we can all collectively build strong relations and serve our community and hold our leaders accountable to drive the kind of change that will truly make Antioch a place where opportunity will be for all. I want to take out the time to welcome Eric Thorpe, Mr. Addison, Christian Rakesh, and Mr. Webster, Antoine Webster. So, as you want to start, as we begin, we're going to start with the mayor. So, if you're going to run to become the mayor of Antioch, if you could come up here and take your seat. Mayor Mark Thorpe, future Mr. Rakesh, and also we have another running, Mr. Robert now, but he didn't answer. All candidates were invited. We sent all candidates invites months ago. So there's that. So we have Mr. Frank as our moderator. Everybody knows Frank. He's one of our community leaders. He's radio. On radio, you hear us. So as you guys take your seat, you grab the mic. I'll let you go first, Mr. Rakesh. I'll give you 2 minutes to introduce yourself and your platform, and it is on you.
You broke it already.
How is it, Antioch Church?
All right.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And today I think it's private 13, but it's actually the most luckiest day of my life, because Antioch gave me opportunity. I believe is my witness, like 2000 years ago in Bible saying in Acts, Antioch saw the world Christianity. Church built up in Antioch in Korea, the south side of the Israel. And this is my biggest day for me. It is to give glory for him, and that Antioch going to be prove me right that we are the American, proud Antioch citizen, and we can believe that American glory. We have too many different ideas, different opinions, different feelings. And main reason we know, but we cannot speak out. That is the problem. So, Antioch, I ask you a favor. With God willing, you can give me opportunity to serve you. Thank you. God bless.
And go ahead, Mayor Ford.
Why not you consider here with us?
I have the privilege to be over here.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Lamar Hernandez. And I'm proud to serve as your mayor. I'm proud to have served in the last 4 years. And I'm proud of the progress that we've made in the last 4 years, because Antioch has obviously been going through a lot of changes. We all know those changes that have taken place. I would describe Antioch as a place that's going through a maturation process. And it takes strong leaders to ensure that this maturation process follows through, and that we build an Antioch that is inclusive of all people, that continues to provide services like our community health crisis response team continues to move our unhoused population into housing, and so on and so on. And so I look forward to discussing positions with Mr. Christian. I have to say, we had a debate earlier, we had a very healthy debate, and I think that's so important for our democracy. We shouldn't take it lightly. And part of this process requires candidates to be transparent about who you are, what you represent, what political affiliations you have. And so I want to thank Mr. Christian for being here. One of our opponents is not here, and he didn't show up to the other forum. I just think that's wrong. I think people should know what you're about. I think people should know what your ideological perspective is, because it's going to determine whether or not our city is going to advance in a particular way. And so you can get Ron Grinnell here, but I brought Ron Grinnell with me today.
What?
So he can sit right here.
It's a chicken.
The chickens. They
Okay.
hide behind their political ideology.
Yeah, I'm
He
hungry.
doesn't want to tell you that he's a Republican. He doesn't want to tell you what he believes. He doesn't want to tell you that Donald Trump was out taking women's rights away, Muslim bans, and God knows whatever else. He was a loyal Republican. He decided to run against me for mayor. But he is a Republican, and he is a chicken for not showing up here today.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Mayor Hernandez. And thanks for this introduction, Tiki. I didn't just want to mention the applicant thing, and I've been a lifelong resident of Antioch. I've lived here for 50 years now, 53. And although I moved away a couple times, I always came back to make Antioch my home, and I purchased a home where I'm purchasing now. That I'm trying to purchase a home 10 years ago. So I'm here as part of Reimagining Antioch to help moderate. Thank you all for being here. And thank you both, Mr. Christian and Mr. Hernandez, Mayor Hernandez, for your opening remarks. And I'm just going to open it up. And as we know, Tiki's going to be keeping time. So if you see her waving at you, that means she's giving you like a 15-second. And then when you see Tiki, your time is up. And something that's been around a lot recently in the Antioch community is, what is public safety? So we want to just throw out there kind of bare bones to you all to describe what you see as public safety. And we'll start with you, Mr. Christian.
Public safety is come on the home. Is public safety? Is it working?
You got to see how I got it. You got to keep it up close and talk right into it.
Yeah, but public safety,
Like that.
public safety is come from the home. First is that it's not that you're going to put the more police officer and the police officer. It's come from the home. The second is the education school. School system need to be recognized and teach our kids the correct things. Correct value, the reality, what is going on. I work on the Antioch too. I work in open doors. I got interview. I got 20 years paper too also. But it is why? Because there is no job. There is no job. There is no work. You cannot do nothing about it. What people are going to do? Because job people need education and work. In school need to teach like not that thing or join the army and you kill people there. No, they have to teach the kids, killing is bad. That is the problem. I have experience with my daughter. The school force, teacher force teacher Henry, that you must read, killing is great. And my daughter number signed me. So this is the school. You cannot blame any politician or anybody. They are taking advantage from us. I got no issue. For nothing, I'm walking, no problem. You know, when I was walking also, when I came to US, no transportation, no car. When I went in the more lane, on the time, officer dropped me too. That's why I purchased my property in ever before. So, is start with the home first and school. That's my opinion. And I know what the action we need, particularly these days, surveillance. He knows that. That's surveillance. Right now we are talking in the money. They knows what he's doing. So,
All right, and Mayor Hernandez, that you're definition of public safety.
Safety is,
You got your mic back on?
public safety is mental health. Public safety is our fire services. Public safety is housing policy, strong housing policy that ensures we keep families united. Public safety is making sure we're moving our homeless individuals into permanent housing. Public safety is making sure people have access, to my friends at ACE, access to public transportation. Public safety means a host of things. It doesn't mean just one thing. What my good friend and I, Mr. Christian, will have a disagreement on is that public safety here in Antioch does not mean that we're violating people's civil rights. It does not mean that black women are monkeys, gorillas, or water buffalo. It does not mean that we have police officers who exchange people getting out of tickets with liquor bottles. That is not public safety. The public safety that we built in this city is now the new Office of Public Safety, Community Resources, modeled after Richmond's Office of Neighborhood Safety. It is building a police department that every single segment of our community can be proud of and feel safe. And so in the last year and a half, we've hired about 36 new officers that are reflective of this room. That's what public safety means to me, and I know that that is what public safety means to the residents of Antioch.
that's been philosophy. That public safety come by serving people to give this. It's not, it's very simple. The education is the important thing. People have the money, there is no robbery. People need to understand. Still, we recognize those things. School teacher, what he said about the person, and all of we don't talk about the person in the church right now. He's in church pulpit. We are on church pulpit. We cannot talk about the person. It's a blessing. You know, I know your belief. Like the second thing about he's talking about the mental issue. Okay, he's talking about the mental issue because that's the party business. They want to get in the mental care. You know, that's all the big circle. We need to be wake up, and thank God in the church will be. People will wake up. Antioch, I ask you again, be wiser. Don't choose and also like that. So you have to think very good. School never teach the life. Who found it? Mr. President. They don't talk about him. The black guy on the right.
All right, you got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So if you're gonna do a response, you get 30 seconds, and you got to watch for Tiki to give you a signal. Well, thank you for your responses. And next, I'd like to ask, over the years, we've lost a lot of our neighbors due to speeding and traffic incidences, especially recently along Lone Tree Way and James Donlin. Would you commit to addressing public safety by infrastructure such as speed bumps or traffic circles, or what would be your ideas to address this safety concern? And we'll start with you this time, Mayor Hernandez.
Well, we have been addressing those issues, and we're going to continue to do so. When I first got on the Antioch City Council, myself and Councilman Monica Wilson fought for speed bumps. We now have speed bumps. We recently invested over $1 million to do traffic calming measures on James Donlin, Sycamore Drive, and 10th Street. We're starting with those. Obviously, there's a lot more streets that we need to focus on. And so we'll continue to do so. Antioch was designed as a city for automobiles and not necessarily the most pedestrian-friendly community. In the inner core of the area, obviously, it's bicycle lanes, you see people use more modes of public transportation. But the last 4 years has focused on how we transition the city to be more pedestrian-friendly. So we're doing so. Part of that agenda is the new park that is going to be opening here. It will be the first park, the bicycle park that will teach our young people and anybody how to utilize bikes on our streets and whatnot. Part of that will include at one time a bicycle and pedestrian master plan, so that our major thoroughfares like Lone Tree, we can find measures to reduce speed there as well and make these streets bicycle friendly as well. It's from a public safety perspective, but also, as Vice Chair of the cost of transportation, I'm always focused as well on reducing vehicle trips per mile. So that means we got to reduce our carbon footprint. That means we got to get people out of office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hernandez, and Mr. Christian.
Yeah, he's talking about the users on activity.
Let me remind you to keep that mic close.
Because silent water is always dangerous. Okay, people have no activity. Our kids have no activity. What we have? They got social media, I call it freedom. Social freedom. We don't want to give our kids that kind of development that they just stay in the box. They don't get out from the box, see the world, what is beautiful. America is beautiful. America is gorgeous. See the experience. It's not all. I know my son never tell me, oh, those kids are doing those things. And that's why also when you go there, I said, what? You're talking. People have the right to do. I think total freedom is not a people of color. It's nothing to do with that one. Because don't keep playing games. That's why my logo, elephant, donkey, hit me the other day. I'm playing rabbit, including us. We are the rabbit. The rabbit is a maximum. We got squeezed both ways with a donkey and elephant. We got squeezed and squeezed. Every time we got squeezed. So you have to think that you have to give little freedom to the people. Young people need some happiness. Okay, the happiness I don't see in the young kids. They are so stressy, and they want to the kids are no, they are genius. They are genius kids here. Our kids are smart. Like I don't know what my phone, but they know how to detect right. And they can guide you, they can teach you. You don't make 35 kids are dummy. That is the problem. They teach your kids, you are ready. You are ready, do something. Please be something. It's not the way these people are doing the is drinking. No problem. Drinking is nothing.
Okay. I give you 30 more seconds. I don't think I got an answer to that question. So I'm gonna have him repeat that question for me.
So she wants you to, I'm going to repeat the question and give you a chance to answer it a little bit. Okay, so the question was,
Public safety.
oh, well, this was kind of more on our neighborhood and our speeding traffic. And recently we've lost a lot of our neighbors due to the traffic. Would you commit to addressing public safety infrastructure such as speed bumps, traffic signals, or traffic circles?
See, I think we did the speed bump. People need the speed bump. People are trying to go to the speed bump. Also, broke people down, poor people down. Okay. That's also you have to think about public safety. It's creating more problem in the future. More problem in the future because the poor people can't. That's a block, and because of the bump, is getting blocked. And I can go. I experienced in a certain city. They put a heavy bump in my goodness. It's not working. It's dangerous for public safety more because car will make a damage and it's get more accident. And second thing about the speed limit, I think the speed limit is okay. But we are the first one country. People want to manage their own brother. And you're talking about the speed limit. How are we going to be able to develop it? You know, so that is the one it is. You cannot control. We have to stay with the freedom, total freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. All right,
I'm sorry, I have to take 30 seconds.
we'll give the mayor a little chance to answer on that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Responded to it. First, he talks about the rabbit. Yeah, he sounded like that. Both him and my other opponent.
Yeah.
Second, yesterday I met with Lynette Kidd. Lynette Kidd.
Yeah.
I had to put my arms around in comfort because their child was lost in our streets. Another family who unfortunately went through this unfortunate situation. 3 third graders, 2 were twins and 1 they adopted, were hit by a car. Idiot. Who decided to go joyride.
Yep.
1 is dead. 2 will never be the same. We're going to continue to fight for these speed bumps. We're going to continue to fight for reducing speed on our street because it's out of control. Because people have actually lost their lives. People have lost their lives to stupid sideshows.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we're going to continue on that path.
Thank you, Representative Vogt. Moving on a little bit, talking about reallocating some funds. Would either of you commit to reducing budgets for police and reallocating those funds to social services and alternative programs for building community safety, like violence interrupters, mental health crisis responders? If not, why? And if so, talk specifically about where this money should come from and where it should go. We'll give Mr. Christian a chance to start off this time.
When, like earlier I saw, when people get job, these days, you're talking about the police officer, they servos, survivors. I just talked earlier, and you need more police for what? I agree, you need the police with the staff, like different city, they have very nice, but they have quiet place. What we doing wrong, and what is the reason is causing that you need the more police officer? I agree, you need the certain limit, so you cannot keep putting police officer every day. Other people, after they're going to think, oh, we got to put every one guy and one police officer. No, you cannot afford those things. People need to be, these parents to teach their kids. Like you also talk about the speed bump, I understand that one too also, but the problem is that those things is also hurting the poor people, is hurting the poor class. And these are all about that one. The police being, whatever we have, 80, how many 85 people, police, 85. Yeah, 85 police officer, and one population is less than 100,000. You know, and what mega state we have? Long week, summer week, that's done. It's done like that. So you have to think everything. Police are great, we need, but if the family, parents teach the kids the main thing, then city is no problem. And we are the great for 90% because of those kind of mentality, like my opponent, Damar and Ron was a city manager, and he's the mayor. They do nothing, you know. So
Thank you, Mr. Christian. And would you like to repeat the question? You got it. All right, so, get a little feedback. Would you commit to reducing budgets for police and reallocating that money to social services and alternative programs for building community safety, such as violence interrupters and mental health crisis responders? If not, why not? If so, talk specifically about where this money should come from and where it should go.
You know, we've never done that, and yet we're doing all the things you just described. We're doing every last thing you just described. And so, no, I'm not committing to that because that's not how much it works. But it starts with our unfunded liabilities. The state takes a chunk of that first, And then the second thing is we have to honor the contracts of our employees. And so from there, you then start allocating money to everywhere else. And so I appreciate the question, but it's arbitrary because that's just not how budgeting works. It's a much more comprehensive process than coming to a form and promising you, making false promises, saying, oh, I'll cut here and then I'll give over here. That's not how that works. And so, but what I can commit to is finding sustainable funding for transitional housing programs. So we've asked the state for an additional $6 million to open another hotel so we can increase capacity. We have the general fund added more money to the community crisis response team, so that's going to go for another year. We have found additional funding through the state grant for the mayor's apprenticeship program, the program that takes kids who literally sell dope and drugs off the streets. In addition to that, I'm sorry, but we have to elect Kamala Harris president of the United States. So that we have a Democratic Senate and a Democratic United States House of Representatives. And the funding that I talked about that created these programs came from the Biden-Harris administration.
That's right.
And they have to be responsible for us putting together an agenda that creates a public safety program that goes beyond just policing. And so it's much more than just making, oh, I think I'll do this. I'm not playing that game. I produce real results based on facts, figures, statistics, and I will do my best to ensure that I'm representing you in the best possible light when we're coming up with these budgets. And people will lie to you, whether it's misinformed council candidates or mayoral candidates who will say that we have a deficit. We do not have a deficit. We have a $63 million surplus.
Mayor Hernandez, did I get you on that one already? I didn't.
Sure, you did. You was first.
Okay, fine, I wasn't sure. Oh, sorry, Mr. Christian. I got you on that one, sorry, my mistake. So we're gonna move on to the next question. Let's move on to the next question. Thank you, though. Moving on to like some sort of policy and implementing policy. Can you explain a time you had to develop and implement policy focusing on public safety? Is that supposed to go with the public safety one?
Can you explain a time when you had to develop and implement policy focusing on public safety?
Yeah.
Mr. Rakey,
When you heard that the way his policy is,
He's gonna respond.
he says public safety, he did this one. No, public safety is same answer for those things. My philosophy is different, and that's the reason I want to build up the Antioch different monument. That city of education city. Okay, his plan is put the people in the mental care. He want to make the hotel for the homeless people. What are the people who are okay in Europe? Down to up, not put them down. That is his plan. That is his plan. That's not my plan. Okay, my plan is totally different. But public sector is totally different. We are ready to bring Antioch. If we say he did this, he did this, he did this, why you are policeman number? That's unbelievable. We have a highest problem in Antioch. That's very sad. He is what that is.
All right, thank you.
He was city council, he is mayor, how many years now? 4 years. Yeah, you see, that's the system. This is what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. She forgot to start the time, so you want to get 30 seconds to respond? Mayor Hernandez, go.
Very quickly. I'm the second black mayor of Antioch in the city that was historically the sundown. I'm not the system.
And let me remind both of you that when you're speaking, keep.
I accept VIP. I hope that's true. Okay? You are the system. All system your age.
Mr. Christian.
So what's up with that, brother?
Mr. Christian.
You give me a system with the mental care, that
Mr.
care.
Christian.
Because I'm not you're telling her, them, oh, we don't put your medical care.
Mr. Christian, can you, yeah, thank you. Try to pay attention on the side over here, we're talking to you. All right.
Need a ring
Well, we're
bell.
gonna move on because we're gonna wrap up with one more question for you all. We're gonna move into, some of the city council, folks. So we'll wrap it up with this one.
Questions that are asked.
Yes, please try to change to the question.
Two more times.
And so here's the question. As you know, affordable housing and homelessness is a universal concern right now. The current council and mayor have begun to work on this issue. With so much more work to do, what are your plans to continue to address our housing crisis in Antioch? We'll start with Mr. Christian on this one.
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me clarify that one, because Americans suffer. We see Rajasthan, we see 2008 drama, we see all those drama. And that's the reason that modification, people are stuck with the law. But that is totally misrepresented, very abused. People know their house, that's number one. That's why these people, homeless people who lost their house, they become homeless. And you come into the build of the house, now they're giving housing to illegal people, and they also give them money. So why are we talking about the homeless, build more house, build more house for who? That's the concern now. You have to think, we have to think what is going on. They make American cities homeless. My friend lost, my neighbor lost the house. They're not the house. I see them. And until today, and they're homeless, now they're serving homeless, and they're in their billion. That's their system. And I understand. People need help. I agree in the President Collins also say one time that if you help people don't try to help themselves, it's going to fail. It's going to fail. You cannot do nothing. You cannot change what he can do. Or he can. So it's not that I'm going to build up a hotel for the homeless people. Welcome to Nara Land. That's not me. I want the action. I want the citizen. I'm going to pay $3.5 million to $32 average per ten. Okay? I make the deal first. I will get the deal. I check those things. Look at the building. That's his job. He don't do nothing.
The question was, what are you going to do?
That's the I'm talking. I'm talking on straight.
Well, the mayor didn't get to answer this one yet.
Right. We're gonna have at least 2 or 3 questions.
And then I forgot we were gonna get a couple questions from the audience.
So if y'all have questions, y'all have them, you can write them down.
Yeah, we'll let you go. You want me to repeat it or you got it? As you know, affordable housing and homelessness is a universal concern at this time. The current council and yourself, the mayor, have begun to work on this issue. With so much more work to do, what are your plans to continue to address our housing crisis in Antioch?
Well, I'm gonna knock on doors so people can vote for me, so we can continue the agenda for the next 4 years, or else it's just gonna fall. But I think it's important to note that we have done some work already. We've done some work with upzoning southwest Antioch by Delta Fair Buchanan. Those old commercial areas are now zoned for residential communities, mixed-use development. I'm sure this council would have the appetite to, of course, entertain. Well, it's not that we have the appetite. We demanded that we see a portion of those types of affordable housing. And so we'll continue to expand any rental protection or any tenant protections that exist so that people aren't falling into homelessness as well. So it's about preserving the agenda and continuing forward, but we have upzoned certain areas so that we have more housing and more availability for it. I do want to say one thing. This is the same old Republican talking points. That both lines are spewed. And you hear it in their wording. He's not doing anything. my rear end, I'm not doing anything. I'm working behind us for all of you, for every single person in this room since day one. Since day one, to build a city that's much more inclusive than what it used to be. We have tenant protections that literally took 4 years of working their rear ends off to complete. We have done the largest police reform measures in this city's history. In this city's history. And I can go on and on about the historic policies that we have done. No one has been sitting around doing nothing. We've been working to ensure that we're providing new services, not the same old services, new services to city residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we remind you, if you're out, thank you for the time. And are we going to take a question from the audience?
From the audience, I'm gonna start over here.
I could probably read this. I'll let her know.
Somebody had a hand up.
Well, I had a question for Mr. Ron Burnell that's not here. So I want to ask, this man, what's your name? Christian. Why do you think and keep talking about and elaborating on it starts at home? And why are you basically saying that it's a lot of these issues are the children's fault?
2 minutes.
I don't say children's fault. I said it starts with the home. Number one. Number two is school. Education is failing, and education makes us fail. If the parents teach kids this, don't do it. But school says, get the parents, don't argue, otherwise you will be in. That's going on. So it's nothing to do. The kids are great. Our kids are great. Otherwise, there is no Facebook today. Okay? So those things that doing this education is wrong. Like I told you about the Mr. Grant, he had the right. Did they talk about the book? No. Who is the co-founder of the Google? Check it. What about the Twitter? James.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ms. Catherine, we're gonna move on to the next question. We're gonna get him. Thank you. She had that question for Mr. Christian. We're gonna move on to the next question.
This question is to Mayor Burnell. You agree or disagree with the city's commitment to support housing for homeless when the economy has let us down? And do you agree with managed capital?
Say that one more time, because the first part I just said.
Do you agree or disagree with the city's commitment funds to support housing for homeless when the county has let us down? And then the second part to that, do you agree with managed capital?
Okay. So historically, you know, county services, particularly around homelessness and mental health. Eastern Contra Costa County does not have a congregate shelter. It just doesn't. And so residents in the last 8 years expressed concerns about not being able to move people to somewhere. And I'm sympathetic to that. That's what we have. We want to expand that. But right now, we just don't have space for people to go. The county doesn't have a shelter. And even if they did, I'm not sure it would be enough. It wouldn't be enough. And so, do I agree that the city should be spending money? I wish we didn't have to spend money on that. But I agree that we need to spend the money on that because we have to get people off of the streets and in a dignified way. Do I agree with managed encampments? I have never agreed with managed encampments. I just have not. I've taken a second look at it recently, and I may be visiting one in Richmond later this month just to learn more about it. But I have historically not supported managed encampments. I feel like people should be moved into housing. But at the same time, we just don't have enough of it out here. I do want to just end with, we can all agree that it starts in the home. We can all agree that it starts with parents. And some people need to take a civics lesson because the school system is run by the elected school board. But second,
That doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we still absorb the problems that we have to deal with. I can't put, we don't regulate people's homes. We don't govern people's homes. And that's just not the way America works. It's what it is. And so we are then left dealing with some of those challenges in our community. And that's our goal. Not to be managing people's homes, but to be, unfortunately, in some instances, managing the outcomes of poor decision making. So you can't ignore those problems.
Yes, I had one question down here.
And one online,
One online.
in person first.
So my question is for, Christian, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I've been here for over 25 years, in the city of Antioch, and I really have not seen a mayor do as much as this mayor has done for our city in just under 4 years. So I'm just curious to see, I wish my mom was here too, so I could ask him this question as well. What exactly, as far as policy wise, do you disagree with? Is it rent control? Is it the homeless motel? Is it, like, I'm just confused, mental health crisis response team? Is it the, what do you disagree with? What makes you want to be our mayor? What is he going on?
And you can only see the morning's close. You see some of it, how it's close. Okay, I know they were speaking, I'm talking training point, but that is the things. Everything go automatically in the community empowering. If the community don't have no empower, we cannot do nothing. You can pay the 32-room motel, you give them 3.5 million for the homeless people. Is great. It's wonderful. But city cannot afford to also. We are on the wrong path. My opponent, Ron and Amanda, they also punishing the business card. They are punishing business card too. You cannot be thinking that they are politicians. I am not. I am representing you. I know what is going on in India. Okay? So it's not that things, oh, this community is like that. No, it's very worse. That's why I want to open this medical college here for doctor and surgeon too. So we can have good people coming also. And we have business booming, economic booming. Right now, India will look like set down. We don't make it set down. We want to do some improvement by the empowering community. The community wake up.
Time.
Thank you. I appreciate all you guys' time. I have a couple more from the audience, but I know I gotta get this other one up here. So, as we leave, do you agree on separating the internal affairs officer from the Antioch Police Department? So it can be a yes or no question, and then we'll make our way down so we can get our, other ones up.
The answer is yes, we're already working on it. Okay, but I want to address something else. It's just silly. It's absolutely silly. Amazon is killing malls, not here in the Marble. They're killing commercials. Consumers have decided to shop online, not go to malls or strip malls. That's what's killing consumers. In case Mr. Christian doesn't know, Antioch is now home to the second largest car transporter in the world, airports. That means we brought jobs to our riverfront. They're coming. We are literally about to break ground on over 1 million square feet of advanced manufacturing, logistics, and warehousing here in the city of Antioch. In case you didn't know, those are all jobs. We've been working hard to advance the cannabis industry, not just in retail, but in grow manufacturing, research and development. Those are all jobs. Every last one of them requires jobs that have livable wages and benefits. It's not about the cannabis, it's about making sure people have jobs that they can live off of. And so we're taking advantage of these opportunities. Thank you.
Wow. Can you just answer the question? I think we know your.
We have an influx of people in Antioch. Well, we have no feedback. So, we have an influx of people in Antioch who return from incarceration to the city of Antioch. What plans do we have to develop rehabilitation programs and equal opportunity employment to ensure we are contributing to lowering the recidivism rates and the correlation of incarceration and homelessness? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we do very little with the marriage apprenticeship program. That's very specific.
Get it close.
That's very specific. But again, I can't emphasize enough that these are programs that the county should be running. Counties run these programs. Whether it's AB 109, Prop 47, all the money that's coming out, the counties run these programs. And so to the best that we can as a city, we'll ensure that we support. But at this point, I don't see a reason why we should be running programs at the county. So we have Healthcare 360 here. We have, what was it? We don't have Rubicon, but that's.
Rubicon.
Told you.
So we have some of these programs and we're all for them, but maintain the perspective that the county should be running this program.
Because I have the mic, I'm gonna hold you guys to that. You guys know that Contra Costa County have harmed a lot of our residents here in Antioch. So a lot of our residents don't trust people, whoever the county have out here. And I'm talking from experience. I have never received great help from the county. So sometimes you have to go outside the county and reach into your community and help us residents as Antioch and not as the county, because the county continuously to look over Antioch residents. Okay,
I think, with that, I think we're getting ready to move on to the.
thank you for your time.
That's it.
Any last words? You okay? Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. You want to take this down with you?
Again, let's give a hand to Mr. Christian.
Thank you. You are much greatly appreciated.
Where do you want it?
Depends who you're asking. That's funny. Oh wait, hold on. Here, give me one of these pictures here too. Hold on. Dang. All right.
All right.
Thank
you, Christian.
We'll take a 5-minute intersection. Ready? We'll have our city councils, like we have District 2 and 3. And we working with
What,
District
talk
2.
about it?
Yeah.
Look at that. So glad that you guys-
Thank you. We have time to interview if anyone wants to talk about in the intercession.
Intermission.
Does anybody want to talk? Interview, talk about elected. I don't know what we got going on today. Me and you will talk about it.
We will talk about it, baby.
Yes, come on in. Tell us about what's going on this Saturday. Let's talk about it. I was thinking, what if you did like this way? No? Okay. Well, not everybody's gonna probably want to be like on the camera either. I would have done it this way or like that way. Sorry. No, we could punch across to anything. Let turn the camera. Yes, so there is the separation of the coroner's office from the sheriff's that we want, because otherwise they were the ones investigating themselves, like during the Angelo Quinto murder that happened. And so that's going to be happening soon. You want to tell us more? What should we look out for? What's coming up?
So the Quinto family
Mhm.
have their own foundation, and they're going to launch a campaign, and they need residents from across the county to work toward an effort to separate the sheriff from the coroner's office because of the bias that's been created.
Indeed.
The family went to get the death certificate of Angelo changed, and what a big
Circus, it went in
circus that
circles.
was, because they said the only person who can change the death certificate would be Angelo himself. So how insulting was that?
Wow.
And
Wow.
the lead examiner that we use had a fear of taking tests. So because of that, he's not certified. So we have this big campaign in place now.
Let's
So
get
we're
ready.
hoping to- Folks will call the Board of Soups.
Yes.
And show up on October 11th.
Yeah.
And make sure. that-
October 11th. We're going to go to
we
the county.
understand that this family needs to be supported, and
Yes.
that what happened to Angelo should never happen again.
Angelo Quinto's life was taken Christmas Eve 2020 after many protests in the city of Antioch. And he was a veteran, despite people not recognizing him as such. He did try and sign up for the Navy. And he did deserve the mental health. This shirt is dedicated to Angelo Quinto, the AQ, Angelo Quinto Crisis Response Team. They didn't keep the logo, but it's okay. But we all heard that. So October 11th, it's important for us to organize. We're maxed out in Antioch, and if the family needs us at the county, let's go to the county, because this is a county-wide issue. That means we're going to need help from Silicon Valley, from the city, from Oakland, from around the Bay Area, around county to county. Counties got to support each other. So let's get ready. Thank you, Miss Gigi Crowder. Thank you for that update. Miss Nicole, do you have any updates for us? Come on in. Come on in. This is Nicole. This is like my other mom. What am I doing? A page?
Oh,
updates. Yes, for the Saturday.
Okay, I do. I guess I do.
Yay.
So remember when I came to city council and told everybody that someone thought it was okay to say they need to bring back hanging in the Antioch Town Square? Well, the story is picking up traction, and it's made it to Atlanta Black Star, which is the biggest digital Black publication in the Black owned publication in the United States.
All right.
So
the word is getting out.
Word's
It
getting
took a
out.
while.
Yeah, they're taking it seriously. So we're waiting to hear what's out, what the outcome will be. Of the investigation.
Absolutely. We got to investigate. Yeah, no, that's great. That's what needs to happen. And this Saturday also, there's going to be a celebration of the train ride downtown Antioch. Let me read the
Yes, I'll be there. We're at Antioch. Be in the building. Wear your shirts if you got one. We'll be in support.
Monument Impact will be there as well. We'll be rocking with
Rising
you.
Juntos will probably
Rising
be there.
Juntos. Calling out all the grassroots nonprofit orgs or family and friends, community members and allies to see this celebration through. Let me pull up more info on the time and location.
It'll be from, I think I want to say 3 to 8. Right? Where is?
Yeah, because I know she said it came at 2:45 working. She got here where she fit in.
What's
I
her
let
thing
her
on
leave.
Instagram? It's
I'm not on Instagram.
Oh,
Neither
no,
is
Facebook,
she.
Facebook. She's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. She's
But
China.
China. Haha, that's cool.
Yep.
So we'll read before we get going this Saturday.
That's it.
We're gonna nope,
Nope,
that's not it.
Read your line.
What's your song?
All right. We got a few more minutes, y'all. The sound guys.
This Saturday.
Got some technical difficulties.
From 3 to 8.
From 3 to 8. Are we riding the train anywhere, or is it just the train?
Well, some
station?
people are. There's going to be a lot of people coming in from different places because, like, there's a transportation coalition that's also part of this.
Isn't everybody going to
And they're
Martinez?
coming. No, that's when we go to the SJPA.
Okay.
But this Saturday there is a whole celebration and like tour of Antioch and all that good stuff.
Y'all taking the train?
No, people are going to come in on the train from other places
when is
to
this?
join
What
in
time?
Saturday. So from 3 to 8, and there's a big celebration at Monica's, and all these things are happening. So come
It's
on
a
out on
celebration because they
Saturday.
try to
At 8 o'clock, you're gonna be at Monica's?
disrupt the infrastructure and
3 to 8,
transportation of our
3 in the
community.
afternoon. We won't be at Monica's
But
until I guess like
people
I don't
spoke up.
know, sometime.
Okay.
But yeah, you have
They're
to
not
ask
going to take the
Sheena
train
to let
station.
We have
Sheena
a
give all the good
barbecue.
information.
They're having a barbecue in Pittsburgh.
Right.
The OGs. Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. I'm making that chopped cheese sandwiches and chopped cheese tacos.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm eating marinating right now.
Mm. Look.
Yeah. Chopped cheese. All right, y'all. Just be patient with us. Yeah.
Intermission's almost over.
Just be patient with us. We're about to start in a few minutes. They're
We
waiting
have
on the
Woodward,
sound guy.
Addington, and
What's Mary saying?
and
Hi, Mary. Sorry, I didn't see
Addison
that.
and Antoine Webster, and Addison Peterson.
Dominique.
Yeah, she's here.
And Dominique.
Don't forget
That's
to
who's up
like
next.
and
Dominique.
subscribe if you're
And
watching
Dominique.
this
And
on
Miss
the YouTube.
Dominique. Yes, like and subscribe. Come through.
Yeah, Dominique.
We're gonna switch this around.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch.
All right.
Thank you for joining us and filling us in with some community things.
Thanks for shopping. All right, we're turning around, y'all. She cool because she laughs at my dumb jokes. All right, wait.
A little bit the other way.
Wait,
Nope.
like that?
Nope.
Go that way?
There. A little bit more.
Wait. Mary, are we straight, Mary?
One more tap.
Dang it. Ah,
There.
right there?
There.
Are we straight, Mary?
It's perfect.
Ah. All right. So we got Reimagine Antioch. I can't even see. Picture time. Oh, heck no. They're going to move over here. Hold on.
Hey, sorry, I missed your call.
Uh-oh, hold on. We're going over here. What you got to say?
Where the you want me to, I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I'll text it to you. We put it.
I could focus it on her.
Okay, I'll send it to you right away.
You can sit here. I'll just focus it on her. Hold on. She wants to talk, but she don't want to shirt.
Okay. Come on in. All right, so we have one of our champions leading this keeping the train open, so she will fill us in over sound.
All right. Well, good evening, you guys. Tashina Garrett here, Ace Antioch chairwoman. I'm here tonight, hanging out with the community, doing some important work here. But we also wanted to remind everybody that September is Transit Month. And since we've been spearheading this fight to save our Pittsburgh Antioch Amtrak train station, we thought it to be imperative to join with the Trans-Bay Coalition and set up the Antioch Whistle Stop Tour and Celebration, which will be held tomorrow, September the 14th. Participants will be coming in from all over the Bay Area by train. And those of us here in, the immediate area will converge on the Amtrak station at 100 I Street at 3 p.m. Where we will take us a tour. We will have a fabulous poet by the name of Mo. Yeah,
Okay,
Mo's gonna
Mo,
join us.
yes.
So
He's very talented.
yeah, Mo's gonna join us. We're going to be given the tour by former City Councilwoman Joy Motz with one of the organizations from Antioch. We will be touring the El Campanile Theater, one of the banquet halls. I'm going to give people a little opportunity to run around, check out some of the shops like El Mercantile. Oh, yeah. Some of the nice food
Downtown
spots.
Gems.
Yeah, downtown spots.
There's a smoothie spot.
Yes,
TNT.
TNT. So if you guys are available tomorrow, come on out, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll finish it off at Monica's for a little bit of snacks and some libations. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Miss Tashina.
Anytime.
Yes, knowledge is power. We're going to keeping each other informed on what's going on in our little corner of the city. the little corner of the county.
Little tiny corner.
Tiny but mighty.
All right, are we straight? Oh wait.
Nope.
Ah,
Tap
dang it.
tap.
Like what? That way?
Yep.
Right there.
One more.
Ah,
There.
right there.
Perfect.
Mike, come here. Mike. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys. We got Miss Dominique. We got to bring up
Miss Dominique.
our future candidates. Thank you guys for taking out some time. I'm going to allow you guys 2 minutes to introduce yourselves.
2
And your
minutes.
platform, where you're running, why you're running. And then I'll hand it over to Frank as our moderator. Yes, you need a mic. You got a mic? Okay, here, you can have it, Mr. Frank. I have 2 slides in my hand. I have 30 seconds. We all have 30 seconds. If y'all get off the subject, but don't ask a question. Stay on message. Yes, that's what I learned from the person. All right.
Miss.
So look,
Message.
here once again, I'll give Frank the floor, and we go.
Frank. Go
All right,
Frankie.
again, thank you all for sticking around. We're gonna have our city council candidates introduce themselves, and as Tiki said, you got 2 minutes, and please just keep an eye on Tiki for your time. We'll start with Madison Peters. What district? I believe you're both District 2 and you're District 4. I think
So to clarify, both Antoine and I are in District 3, and Dominique is in District 2.
Wow. Okay. Districts.
This is the opponent is a chicken too. There's no bars too.
Ha.
Yeah, well, thank you for the clarification, and please go ahead and give your introduction.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi.
My name is Addison Peterson, and I am very proud to run for Antioch City Council District 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way better. I'm running for Antioch City Council because I'm very concerned about the direction our city is going into, and I'm very concerned about the direction that some of our opponents are trying to steer our city into. They're trying to make us go back to the way things used to be. That was the word Robert Allen used when he announced his campaign. And Antoine and I's opponent, Don Freitas, stood right next to him as he said that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he asked that question, I always have to ask another question. What does he mean by that? Does he want to go back to a time where, our Chinatown was burned down by a white mob because they didn't like the fact that Chinese people were here? Do we want to go back to a time pre-1990 when Antioch was a sundown town? Are we going back to a time when our law enforcement was allowed to murder our citizens without any kind of repercussions at all? It took the Department of Justice to come in here to eliminate 40 of our officers to create change. I'm running for Antioch City Council because I want to improve our housing, our public safety, and our economic development. With nearly 15 years of public policy experience, I'm going to bring to you a lot of experience operating in this state. I have done things for education, I have done things for small businesses, and right now I'm doing things for organic farmers, which we can talk about later. For now, I'm running to do things for you because I want to see Antioch be better. I want to see Antioch be the best city in Contra Costa County. And I do not want to go back to the way things used to be because the only way to move is forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Addison Peterson, and we'll just go right on over to Dominique King, and you are going for
District 2, you kind of took my slogan right there, Addison. So yes, my name is Dominique King. I'm running for Antioch City Council District 2. My family and I have been in Contra Costa County for 15 years. My husband is in law enforcement. We have 3 beautiful children, 2 of which attend the schools right here in Antioch. And so this takes me to why I want to run for Antioch City Council. So in 2022, I ran for a USD school board. And while I was out there knocking on doors, talking with residents, trying to get them their concerns about education as a priority, what I heard was them telling me about their issues with housing, their issues with job placement, their issue in feeling safe in their neighborhood. All of these barriers were hindering them to being able to focus on the education of their children. And so as I ran my campaign, I thought to myself, well, how do I solve these issues? How do I begin to translate that into policy, into pathways when I'm elected, because I fully intended on winning. But when that didn't happen, I then said, well, Dominique, the work doesn't stop. The very next day after I lost, I went right back out there into educational advocacy, community advocacy. I became a Parks and Recreations Commissioner because at the core of it, I care about my community. I care about what happens to it and the people that live in it. And so during that time of advocating for that, I then said to myself, okay, what's the next thing that I need to be focusing on? How do I align myself with organizations like Reimagine Antioch or Rising Juntos or Monument Impact to really fight for the residents that are here? And so when the opportunity came to go ahead and run for city council, I knew that was something that I wanted to be able to do. And so what I hope to be able to bring to the forefront is infrastructure development for economic development, public safety, housing, and community engagement, because I feel like that's one of the biggest pieces here in Antioch that we're missing. And I hope that you will be able to listen to my platform and I will gain and garner your support.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Councilman Queen. And now again for District 3 candidate Antoine Webster.
Appreciate it. So my name is Antoine Webster. I'm running for Antioch City Council District 3. Running to make strides in Antioch. Years ago, I came to Antioch with the intention of trying to make an impactful difference right here in the city that I have to live and raise my kids in. So, I see that Antioch is on the verge of having, actually, we're not on the verge, because it's actually taking place today. We have a growing, diverse community. It looks like us this month today. It's a community that we need to embrace, we need to strengthen, we need to stand with. We have a community that's literally facing housing injustices. We have a community literally that's unhoused. We have a community literally that's not getting the public safety they need. It's one of those things where I am dedicated to working side by side, not only with the city council, as the city council member, but working with the community members like yourselves. It's trying to be representative of each and every one of you. Your voice is the voice that comes out of the city council members' mouths. Myself, I see myself as someone that's going to stand with you and speak strong. Speak strong for your needs, speak strong for everything we need as a community. Because as a community, we stand together, we stand strong. When the community works with the city council, the city council is going to work with you. So it's one of those things we need to address all of our needs, which means including mental health issues, unhoused community, affordable housing, and public safety. So as we continue working to make great strides for Antioch, I want to make sure I'm standing right there with you all the way.
All right, well, thank you for those opening statements. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through a couple of the same questions and then add a couple of new questions. So if you were in the audience earlier, you kind of preview a couple of them. And regarding public safety, you all touched on it, and you heard some different examples of public safety tonight with the mayoral candidates and the mayor. We'll just take it again. We'll go from right to left this time, and then we'll move to the middle and start off one time that way. What does public safety mean to you?
Public safety.
Oh, and let me remind you that if you don't hear yourself real good, keep the mic open.
Yes. Public safety does mean a lot of things, but you gotta make sure you understand public safety at the core. Public safety means taking care of people on public needs level. Mental health, providing necessary mental health funds for everyone in the community. Addressing safety overall. People are at home and want to feel safe at home. Make sure you provide those necessary protective services. Also, when someone can say protective services, we don't want someone coming out looking for a break. We want necessary levels of de-escalation to address our needs. Additionally, going to look at the unhoused community. We have a humongous unhoused community that needs to be focused on. So it's not ignoring them, it's not pushing away, it's being compassionate, finding a way to take care of them. Go also facing with dealing with public safety, we need to look at levels of affordable housing. Finding housing for everyone. Housing is a right, and we should fight for it and stand for it and make it happen. Additionally, public safety means looking for ways to keep people house, not evict them, put them on the streets. So it's one of those things, we need to focus on public safety at a holistic scale. Thinking of the things that we can actually provide, and make achievable here in the city. So for me, public safety means looking for opportunities and ways to make real safety needs addressed right up front.
Thank you very much. And you're up next.
So when I'm thinking about public safety, I'm thinking from a place of what do we mean when we talk about community policing, right? And so community policing to me means encompassing, making sure that we have resources for our mental health, making sure that we have resources for our unhoused, making sure that we have resources to compartmentalize our department so we have different agencies to handle different issues. So do we have community officers that can handle crimes where they do not feel like they're going to be in physical harm or physical harm way? Do we have like our Angelo Quinto response team that goes out to reach our mental health crisis? And are they comparable, culturally comparable to the community that they're actually servicing? When I think about public safety, I also think about how are we addressing making sure that while we're creating pathways for those that are committing crimes to not recommit those crimes or commit those crimes in the first place, we also have to think about our community where they are being victimized and having the resource but having consequences that are appropriate for the crimes that are being committed. And I think sometimes we shy away from that because we don't want to criminalize our homeless. We don't want to criminalize our mentally, those who have mental health crisis, but it is a part of our public safety, especially here in Antioch, that we need to be addressing.
Thank you, Dr. And now to Madison Peterson.
So the definition of public safety for me is pretty broad. I've been listening to a lot of concerns of folks in District 3, and I happen to agree with them on a lot of levels in terms of what we can do for public safety. The first thing that we need to do is we really need to make our streets safe. What I mean by streets, I don't mean crime. I'm talking about the traffic safety issues that we have going on in District 3, right? We just opened up that rural exit over there. Since it's open, there have been more car accidents than ever, right? Right here in District 3. There's one time where somebody was driving down my neighborhood to a car accident right in front of my house. I live in a neighborhood. I don't live off on the street. When you go over on Hidden Glen, you go and you see people with cones right there, all along the street, and you go around and you ask the neighbors, well, what's going on here with the cones? Well, what's going on here is that since we opened up Laurel, Hidden Glen has become a highway. And people have been hitting cars, parked cars. They almost hit children. I almost seen kids get hit violently. We need to do a comprehensive review of our traffic safety to make sure that the new Laurel exit is providing the appropriate safety measures, right? And we're putting more speed bumps, stop signs, and traffic yield signs, and also potentially even to roundabouts as well. Another thing I think about when we talk about public safety is community policing. To me, community policing means the police department is thoroughly involved in the community. What does that mean? That means that they are doing what they kind of are doing now. They're holding Starbucks meetings. That's great. But are you going to community meetings? Are you going to community events? Are you hosting your own community events to hear what the people think about you and to take that information in and make changes? 40 of our police officers were just let go for text messaging that was totally inappropriate. They were also selling drugs. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll do one more for community safety, and then we'll move on to some other topics. And thanks to Mayor Hernandez for all. We raised this question a little bit, but when going through the budgeting process, would you commit to allocating funds for social services and alternative programs would you agree to reallocating funds to social services and alternative programs for building community safety, like violence interrupters, the mental health crisis response team? And if not, why? If so, could you talk about where this money should come from and where it should go? We'll start in the middle this time with Dr.
I'm getting comfortable. Okay, we're gonna do this like we're home. So I want to really address something before I move into that question, because I think it's important to say. We should have a police department that is funded so they have the support that they need to do their job. Because the work that they do is dangerous. The work that they do is critical in the city of Antioch. And so what I want to be clear is that our police officers should have the support that they need in order to best serve us. Now, they should be held accountable if we're going to be paying for these services, but all in all, we need to be making sure that we're supporting our officers. 55% of our budget goes to our police officers, our law enforcement. 8% of our budget goes into like our community policing services. Now, do I think that we can allocate more money to service our community in other ways? Absolutely. But that takes me into the issue of making sure that we have grant writers to go after the funding that we should have in our city. Even going after our CalVID funding, that was a grant that has seen us over the last 3 years. We are getting ready, that funding is getting ready to, be gone soon enough. But if we have a grant writer in place that knows how to go after the funds that we need to be able to provide the service for these programs, I think that we'll be in a better position instead of trying to remove the funds that we have for our officers to be able to do their job.
Thank you for that, and we'll go over to the right to
Thank you. So, I think you stated it very well. As she said,
Can I ask, can we get a little more power on Antoine's mic? I think that might be the issue, just because I know you're holding it close.
Is better? Yeah. Thank you, appreciate that. So, I was saying that we need to make sure that we are properly on the police department, because public safety starts with the necessary protective services here in Antioch. So funding out of police department, we need to make sure that's going to remain in place and properly budgeted. Additionally, she stated 55% of our funding does go to the police department, which is a large percent of our budget, but it's necessary for our city. Also, allocating additional funding towards those elements you stated. Yes, I definitely support those. I've actually stated today that the police oversight commission that we need to make sure we're properly funding the crisis response team, because they are doing a great job here in the city of Antioch. They are literally standing there. When they respond to an incident or a crisis, a response in the community, they show up as professionals, they show up appreciated, and the community loves what they do for us. So I think we need to definitely make sure that we're investing in that in areas of de-escalation, areas of mental health response, because it's something that Antioch really needs. When it comes down to investing in that, we need to make sure that we're also investing in ways to heal, because Antioch, we're torn. So when it comes to funding our police department, let's figure out how we can find a way to heal as we move forward.
Thank you for that. And Madison Peters.
Thank you. So when I think about community policing, I often think about the time when I went on a ride along with the police department, and we went to a call. It was a call where the apartment building manager had phoned the police department because there was a man waving a knife in the apartment lobby. So we go over to the apartment building, and the man, sure enough, he's there, he's waving a knife, and mind you, this is a Kmart issued knife, it's huge. The police officers, there's like 10 police officers surround him, they take him down. It was the first time that night they told me to stay away because there potentially could be a shooting. So I stayed away, and we came back. The officer that I rode along with that day told me what happened. And he said, unfortunately, it was our military veteran who needed VA services, mental health services. In order to get mental health services expedited, he has to commit the crime to get arrested in order to get the services. And you know what else those police officers told me? They don't want to go into any more mental health calls, because every time they do, the police is there to enforce the law. You're not there to be your friend, right? What I'm very proud about what Mayor Hernandez has done and the rest of the city council has done is that they put together a really solid core team. That is not something that every city has. I think only Richmond has one. And what's great about that is they can focus and really help people with mental health challenges. They can put them in the services that they need, and they can do all of that without having that person having to commit a crime just to get help. That's so sad. That's what our country has boiled down to, unfortunately. And if I get on the city council, I plan on expanding our core team and making and enhancing our mental health services for our people to make sure that folks like the two women of color that we just lost, were just shot by police officers because they needed mental health help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have had a lot of conversation about policing, and we didn't get to a lot of the questions about that. So I figured I'd let you all answer some of these questions. So Antioch recently created a Citizens Police Oversight Committee, and we understand that it's a advisory committee. But would you seriously consider what the Antioch Police Oversight Committee suggest, and do you support having a police oversight committee? We'll start with this.
So yes, I definitely support the police commission. In fact, I would like to actually put one or two of those commissioners on the police hiring board. I think our community deserves and needs to have a voice when we are hiring police officers. I'm not sure if anybody else in here has read those federal court documents with the text messages from the police. Reading those when they're calling women, black women, water buffaloes, and all kinds of other names that we ain't gonna mention right now. I made me so upset because we are paying these people to protect us, and that is not protection. I would want to encourage our police commission to sit on that hiring board to make sure that the officers that we are hiring are aligned to the community. When I went to the police academy 2 years ago, I went to the San Jose Police Academy, and what disheartened me is that they are hiring police officers from the Midwest, New York, all over the East Coast. These people, you ask them about questions about stuff like slavery or civil rights movement, they can't answer these questions because they don't teach that in schools in the Midwest, which is unfortunate. We should not be hiring police officers outside of our community, and more importantly, we should not be hiring police officers that do not know the history of what is going on here, so that way when they're on the streets every day interacting with a citizen, they know that what's going on here, and every word that's said, every action you take, it carries a lot of weight. Thank you.
So the short answer is yes. I fully support taking the advice of those who sit on that committee because they were chosen for that reason. They went through an extensive process to be able to sit on that committee. I do think that we have to hold them accountable as we would any appointed or elected official, but I actually agree that they should be a part of the hiring process when it comes to our officers. I think one of the core things when we're looking at this committee is it's offering a sense of a voice for those who have felt voiceless in the city of Antioch, and it's also offering a sense of logic and reason where they're able to articulate what the asks are. And so when we're deciding how to move forward with our police department, they should play a pivotal role, which I do think that they are doing, but as they grow stronger as a committee, I think they will have a deeper impact than the one that they already do.
Yeah, definitely. So my response to that is yes, I definitely support keeping the commission in place. And I must say that, having the commission as a voice as part of the hiring process, yes, definitely support it, definitely should be there. But we should be digging deeper than that. We should be digging deeper into what we actually have today. For example, the evaluations of our today's police officers. How is that process being managed? The persons that are actually coordinating those evaluations, how is that process? What is the criteria? So, for example, Antioch went through a period of 2 to 3 years where those officers were not being evaluated based on their performance. The Police Oversight Commission needs to be asking questions today. Hey, where are we on the status of these evaluations? Where has their performance evaluations have been done? And what was the outcome of those evaluations? I believe that the commission should have an active role in seeing what those evaluations are, and then also have an advisory role in terms of saying, hey, something's wrong here, it's a red flag, we need to address it, and we're moving on, we take action to get it.
Thank you all very much. I'm excited, and we got some great candidates here. Well, let me stick on this topic one more time. I feel like this might be more of a personal or even a moral question. But Mr. Peterson mentioned we recently went through this text message scandal. We're all You know, I think some of us knew what we were already dealing with. A lot of us were shocked about what we read in those text messages. In your opinion, should police officers that made thumbs up or laugh emojis or joked about violence or racism directed at our community in the text message scandal, should they be working for the Antioch Police Department? And let's start in the middle again with John Davis.
No. No, absolutely not, because you, as residents, we want to feel that we are safe in our community, and we want to feel like those that are hired to protect us will do so without prejudice or bias, or without a sense of wanting to harm us as a community. So I think that anyone that was part of that scandal, that in some way played a part and did not speak out and was a part, even if they did not speak out, did not like it, did not say anything in those text messages, but it was never reported, it was never talked about, I take issue with that as well, because I think in order to be a part of the solution, you have to first be willing to speak out. So, and I don't want to jump too far off the subject, but one of the things that we have not really discussed is mental health in law enforcement, because there is a sense of, they are desensitized. There is a study that shows a year of being an officer changes your entire brain chemistry. Things that you would not see normal, they do, because they experience it on a daily basis. So even in these text message scandals, while I know these officers were wrong, it was horrific, it should have never happened, they should have consequences, but there is a deeper issue of addressing the mental health crisis that is happening within law enforcement and to our police officers, that they could take part in this and find normality in it.
Thank you for that. And I think the committee did address mental health for the officers, so thank you to the oversight. We'll go down on this side with Mr. Hughes.
Hell no, they should not be police officers anymore. That's honestly how I feel. You know, I'm not sure if anyone in here has ever had an interaction, a negative interaction with police. I've had police officers pull guns on me, put a gun to my head, and say, "Nigga, get on the ground." You know, I'm so I know that, you know, the curse words aren't great, but this is real. This is what's happening on our streets right now. And, you know, those text messages broke my heart when I saw that. It made me sad, because it's like, this is 2024, we're still dealing with this. It made me sad. And it made me sad for the residents that had to deal with that, residents who had dogs put on them, the residents that had, unfortunately, Angelo Keith lost his life. Our district attorney did nothing about that. They just dismissed it like it was nothing. Our former city manager dismissed it like it was nothing. There was a city employee who killed a citizen and they did nothing, but paid $7.5 million. And that is great, but have you ever heard the sound of a crying mother? Her heart was broken. I don't want to hear that cry anymore. I don't want any more brothers, sisters, uncles, cousins, anybody to go through that again. And if I go to the city council, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that our police department has what it needs to be right. Yes, and I also echo what Dominic was saying earlier. Our officers are having a mental health crisis right now. They will openly tell you that. When I was in the police academy, they told us that. They said after your first year here, you won't be the same, because you're going to see 10 dead bodies and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that you're not going to want to see. Our officers, the way that we do the system of policing in America needs to change. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the discussion. I know in Antioch we can't necessarily change that. That's to be done at our state level, but I absolutely plan on fighting for that in our city legislature as the city councilman. Thank you.
Thank you. And want to repeat the question, or?
It's pretty point blank statement. The answer is no. No, they should not be there, and I think that we should actually dig deeper to figure out what should not be there. Because there's officers that are involved in the issues that are still there today. So I think when I say dig deeper, look into those investigations, figure out what those text messages said, but look, like I said, investigates. Figure who was involved and what were their actions, what were their outside actions, you know, how does the investigation correlate to determine who should not be a part of our police department today? So literally, I definitely think, we should definitely move forward without them as part of our city council, as part of our police department, but also, I said it a long time ago, that silence is compliance. So when we had past leadership here in the city of Antioch that was silent while all this was taking place, when they knew what was going on, or they were compliant with the behavior that was taking place. I feel that literally, if you were compliant with the behavior that was taking place, you should be held accountable for that. You should actually be, not say, whatever that accountability is, if you knew about it, you just took no action to address it, then you need to be held accountable, and whether or not that's you being removed from your position, or the public needs to be informed about what was your role and your role in being silent on the issue.
Thank you for that. I appreciate all your answers. Thank you. And as somebody that has been in the streets protesting against them, one of my first protest signs that I made was "Your silence is violence."
Yeah.
The other officers of the city council. All right, we're going to move on to a housing question, and then we're going to take some of the questions that the audience have turned in. And we're at 8 o'clock, so we're going to. And the housing question is one that we asked of the mayors, and as you know, affordable housing and homelessness is a universal concern right now here in the United States. The current city council has begun to work on this issue, but with so much more work to do, what are your plans to continue to address the housing crisis in Antioch? We'll start at the end with
Our Vice President Kamala Harris said it very well. Housing is a right. So we should know that right in Antioch, you need to make sure that housing is a right for all, not just some. It means addressing the housing issue right up front with immediate actionable items that we can make happen today. But Antioch does have programs that are existing today that are being very impactful for first-time homeowners. But we need to look for opportunities to look at what we can do for the unhoused, and look at those looking for opportunities for those that are on the verge of being unhoused. Because literally, it can be any one of you in the house in here tonight. You can have a medical issue that breaks your family down, and you end up in a situation where you can be almost unhoused. So we need to take action to really provide opportunity to make sure we curb the opportunities for anyone to be unhoused. Make sure we understand housing is not something that's optional; it's a right for everyone in this room. So Antioch needs to take it serious and make sure we're looking at that from a perspective that it's right.
Thank you. We'll just move on to next, Dominique King.
Yeah, so I want to address this directly in solution. So one of the things that I look at when we're addressing the unhoused and we're also addressing affordable housing is bringing in, especially in District 2, is mixed use development, where we have a chance to generate revenue as a city on the bottom and have housing on the top and dedicating a portion of that housing to affordable living or to transitioning our unhoused into a permanent residence. The other thing that I'm looking at when we're talking about our unhoused or those that are socially, economically disadvantaged, we have done great work here in the city of Antioch with our tenant protections, our rent ordinance, our just cause. But what I challenge people to do is look at the policy, because what are the exemptions? Because if you're in a house that it was built after 95, you still qualify. If you are in a single dwelling home, do you still qualify for these protections that we're putting forth? And so while we're doing great work forward, we need to make sure that it's not something that just looks good on paper, but it's something that is powerful and tangible for all residents. The other thing when we're talking about our unhoused, it's been said before that East County does not have a shelter that's in place for the homeless, unhoused residents that are here. But what I believe is that we cannot solve our issue with our unhoused just in our own bubble of Antioch. We must start working with our sister cities, and we must start working with our county, because that is the only path forward, because there is funding that exists in that. When cities partner together, there is funding. When you partner with your county, there is funding. But it is up to us as city council members to hold people accountable, but more than that, to build bridges. And so I think as the next city council for District 2, my goal is to build those relationships so that we have a pathway with real solutions forward, and that the policy that we're putting in place is actually something that's tangible.
Thank you for that. And Mr. Addison, or Mr. Peterson, excuse me.
man, it seems like, Dominic took the word right out of my mouth. You know, to be more specific, I really wanted to put together a joint power authority, which is basically when multiple governments come together with Bay Point, Pittsburgh, and Brentwood to build a homeless shelter to provide temporary housing. You know, I know what it's like to be homeless twice myself. And I understand that there is a lack of services that goes on when you're homeless and pretty much on your own. And, you know, unless a family member gives you some cash to, you know, pay that person last, it's real tough. You know, I had to get out of it by taking some student loans out when I was in college, and I saved that money for like a year just so I could get an apartment in Sacramento, right? But nobody should have to do that and intentionally be homeless just to do that. So my plan with homelessness is to really make sure that we form that JPA, and then we also build permanent housing. In District 3 and 4, we're building so many single-family homes, which is great. That aligns to our housing element. But what has not been aligning to our housing element is the fact that we have not built any affordable housing at all. There's no multifamily housing at all in the city of Antioch being really built, right? So what I want to do is, I know Mayor Hernandez-Flores had mentioned this earlier, but create more upzoning opportunities, particularly in downtown Antioch. We can take downtown Antioch and create really good opportunities there and have mixed residential, commercial down there and really make it nice. We have a riverfront right there. It's beautiful that Mayor Thor put extra jobs down there with that automobile cargo ship. But wouldn't it be beautiful if we could all go down there on a Friday or Saturday night, go have a good time, and the residents that live there can go walk home. They don't have to take public transportation or drive a car and spill out as much greenhouse gas emissions as possible, right? And go all the way down to Walnut Creek or Concord or Sacramento to go have some fun, right? We want to have that right here in Antioch, and I know my District 3 residents definitely want more housing and entertainment. So what I want to do is to create more upzoning opportunities in downtown Antioch and build more multifamily housing. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I'm so excited for you all for city council. And I think we're going to move on to some of the questions from the audience. So I just take or
Then I'm gonna take you to the party.
what is your position on climate change and the actions necessary to tackle it? I would add local.
I'll just jump in there. Climate change is real. No other say that, but it is real. So addressing taking action here in Antioch means advocating for programs that support, climate change and initiatives that we can work with, that we can make actual here in Antioch. So as a city council representative, that means going to Sacramento to actually speak to climate change, make something to make change actually take place and put initiatives forward. So if it impacts Antioch, we had the climate, the floods here in Antioch roughly over our past year. That means climate change impacted Antioch. So there needs to be funding in place to support Antioch as we go through trenches of floods. Well, advocating for funding for climate change means that we can bring funding to Antioch. So I want to make sure that I support climate change initiatives that will bring additional funding to Antioch.
And I lost my mic, but we just go down.
So yes, climate change is real. I think we can all, hopefully we can all agree on that. But when I'm thinking about climate change, and we're talking about specifically here, Councilwoman Monica Wilson has done a great job moratorium on gas stations. When we're talking about climate change, there's also issues with making sure that with our desalination plant, right? Making sure that we have water. Because water is a huge issue. But one of the things that I want to touch on, because oftentimes it gets lost in translation, is when we're talking about our refineries. In Antioch right now, we only have like 3 industrial areas. But climate change is very real, but if we're thinking about our workers that are in those refinery jobs, what they want to ensure is that we have a transitional plan for them. I had the opportunity to talk to the steelworkers, the local union 1440, their president. And in that conversation, he said, when that steel mill was closed, all this idea of transitional jobs never happened. Most of those workers are still out of jobs. And so when we are touching base, when we're talking about climate change, when we're talking about going green, I think it's wonderful, but I also believe that we should have a strong plan that includes making sure that the people that are in those industries have the ability to have a job to come back to so that they can support their families. So climate change is very real. I believe in taking action to make sure that that it is a priority, but I also want to prioritize the people that may be in those career fields that we're going to be, hoping to change or close.
So climate change, big thing. So right now, actually, I have a bill on the governor's desk to address some issues with climate change, particularly in our food and farming system. This bill will help improve the health of the soil that the farmers are using because it will help sequester the carbon dioxide in the air, which is mainly what's causing our global warming issues. And then also it helps retain the water in the soil, which means it reduces less water for farmers. And then on top of that, it also makes sure that there's less opportunity for fire to start because the soils are healthy and they're pretty wet. I also helped negotiate this year the Sustainable Agriculture Chapter, Proposition 4, our climate bond that will be on our statewide ballot this year. We put together a lot of programs like the Healthy Soils Program. There's another program to help with dairy manure and things like that and healthy compost, just to make sure that when farmers are out there, they're not increasing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Dominic here mentioned our desalination plant. There's a lot of money in the bond to help with clean water. There's also a lot of money in the bond to help with wildfire abatement. More specifically, locally here in District 3, what we really need is wildfire abatement. We have had multiple fires in and around District 3 recently. One of them actually did occur right off Highway 4, right in the dry brush area, right? We need to really clear that dry brush. We have fire in my neighborhood where we have a trail that just got built. It's up on a hill. There were kids lighting fireworks up there. The hill caught fire and it partially burned one of the homes. And so our city does, they try to do their best, but they are not doing enough wildfire abatement, not clearing that brush. As you know, you go around Antioch, you see it. You see all that dry brush that's just sitting there where we could have done things like bring in sheep or cows to the soil. I'm sorry, eat some of the dry brush out. We could have done some other wildfire abatement, also paid Cost Fire some money to help with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put a boat.
It's kind of like, hey, can, okay. I just want to give a chance to the audience to ask questions, and then we'll go back to the questions that if we have time.
Good evening.
Yes.
What are your top 3 priorities for our city? How do you plan to achieve them? And how will our city be improved under your leadership for future generations?
Okay. So my top priorities are public safety, housing, economic development. And when we talk about that, you're going to hear a lot of people who are running for office. That is going to be their top priorities. But I want to get very specific. With public safety, we need a community policing model in the city of Antioch because we have, like I said before, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, but we also have to start taking accountability as a community. One of the things that we are here is a bedroom city. So we sleep here, then we leave, and we go do life somewhere else. And so in a community policing model, it really engages the citizens of that community as well. And so that translates to have a better civic engagement, better engagement in our economic development, in our housing initiative. And so that's on the public safety end and really prioritizing that mental health piece. The other part of this is the housing issue. I said it before, we have the ability to solve a lot of our housing issues here if we are intentional about the design that we're creating in the city of Antioch. So mixed-use housing, making sure that we're partnering with our sister cities and the county, as well as making initiatives and policy a priority when it comes to this. And so that is something that I really truly hope to work on. The last one that is my top priority is the economic development. Antioch, we did a great job of building a lot of houses. What we did not do was build the infrastructure to support it. And so we are seeing that. And so on the economic development end, it is great to get imports coming here. It is great to break ground on 1,000 acres, but we have to make sure that we're investing and being attractive to those businesses that will not only come here, but provide prevailing wages for the residents who live here, so they can live, work, and play in the city that they are a part of. So those are my top focus.
So, my top priorities, it's like very similar. I think we all have some platforms up here tonight, but we're great individuals. So, pretty much, so, I want to say that public safety, economic development, and overall growth and development for the city of Antioch. Those are my top three platforms. So, when you're looking at public safety, you're literally addressing issues in our community. And when I say addressing issues, I want to start with a bit of healing for our community, because that's step one. We need to heal as a community, because public safety, we cannot take initiatives to make it effective in our community if we cannot heal first. So definitely want to heal, and we're going to look into ways we can provide community policing that is impactful and effective in our community. But at the same time, looking at other options in public safety, we provide necessary resources for the community that pertain to safety overall. I've been going over to economic development. Economic development is something that's actually necessary here in the city of Antioch. We need to look at opportunities to support our current small business owners. Right here in Antioch, we have a lot of small business owners that are doing business that are just barely holding on. We need to make sure we can keep them here, because we have a lot of vacant business infrastructures already here in Antioch. But also, just going into economic development, if you're an owner of a property that's a commercial property, you need to make sure you got those properties being upheld and taken care of. So as a councilman, I plan to make sure that I am taking major efforts and initiatives to make sure those owners are actually upkeeping their buildings, because one of the things where we look downtown, see several businesses that are not being maintained, and there's no one actually doing anything to make sure those changes are taking place. Also, my other top priority is going to be on overall development and growth for the city of Antioch. So we need to grow. When I say grow, we need to grow majorly, bringing in major businesses, tech here in the city. We get big paying jobs. Look at opportunities to enhance the types of housing we have here, mixed housing, as well as small housing and major, density housing also. But when I say growth in programs, I'm looking at affordable housing, I'm looking at youth programs, looking at engagement for everyone of all ages, to include seniors as well. So.
Thank you. So we're gonna move right along to the next question we have here in the audience.
Right, that's okay. So my top three issues are public safety, housing, and economic development. And I came up with these because really it's just going into the community and talking to the people. Earlier I had mentioned traffic safety being a big issue. And economic growth is important to me, but I think what's more important to me right now is making sure that the growth that we've just accumulated in the last 4 or 5 years is safe and protected, right? We have a lot of work to do with our traffic safety. We've heard multiple people get hit on bikes. Earlier I mentioned the car accidents we've seen on and off Laurel, right? We need to do everything that we can to do a traffic safety review before we do any more expansion, right? And on top of that, there have been also a lot of empty storefronts too. Small business, when I talk about economic development, I'm including small business in that as well. One of the 4 things that I want to bring in Antioch is a small business development center. And for those who don't know what that is, a small business development center is a place where a small business owner can go and get assistance for their business. And most people don't know this, but the federal government pays for that. It's free. The closest one to us is in Concord, but the one next to that is like all the way up in Oakland. When I worked with Monica Wilson, we had to go and get Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center out in San Francisco, and then Alliance for Community Development out in Oakland, just to come out here and help our small business owners. Our small business owners don't need help out in Oakland, they need it right here in Antioch. Bringing that home right here. I'm going to make sure our Congress is bringing that home. The next thing I want to do for our city as well is, and I know in District 3, a lot of complaints have been levied with me every time I talk to our neighbors and folks that are there. They keep telling me about how many new restaurants they want to see and the entertainment that they want to see in District 3. And I plan on working on that as well, but I've heard from a lot of developers, they are concerned with our public safety issues here. And I plan on addressing that, particularly with community policing. Our community first needs to trust our police department first before we can really build up and expand. I I know that Mayor Hernandez Thorpe had announced a few weeks ago that they hired 36 police officers, which is about total the amount of officers that were let go just a year ago. And so that's really great, but now what we need to do is we need to focus on, rebuilding our police department and making sure our community and our police departments like this. Thank you for your time.
Okay, I want to take 10 seconds because I want to address this with our small business owners. So right now in District 2 and District, I think across the board, we need to be holding our commercial property owners accountable because I visit with business owners and they tell me that our small businesses are operating in storefronts that have mold, that have water damage, that are basically take it as it is and you're paying exorbitant rent rates. And so when we're talking about economic growth, we do need to talk about the accountability and we need to hold our commercial property owners. Antioch cannot just be a place where you get tax write-off. And so that is something that we need to address, and I hope to be able to address it at the next city council.
Explain your understanding of the role of a city council member promoting economic development.
I'll take that one. So, the role as a city councilman and supporting the growth of economic development. Well, I'm a business owner myself, so when it comes down to support, it means literally supporting the growth of businesses here in Antioch. When it supports the growth the business of Antioch, I mean, you supporting every facet, everything that goes into having a sustainable business. So as a city council member, I want to make sure that business owners have an opportunity to have their business operate in a safe area where it's clean, there's, light is not an issue, where they feel that their store is not going to get broken into, or they're not getting their doors or their windows smashed overnight. I plan to make sure that as economic development continues to grow and thrive in Antioch, we'll make sure that business owners feel like they can bring their business to Antioch where they can actually have a lot of business, foot traffic coming through on a daily basis, but also make sure that economic development is something that continues to grow and thrive, not something that just that remains on the downhill trend. Because here in Antioch right now, we have a lot of businesses that are closing, but we can curb that. We'll make sure that we're protecting our business. When you say protecting business, providing the necessary protective measures, but also if someone wants to come to Antioch, the city should look at developing new entrepreneurship programs where we can probably supplement the rent for the first year, even half the year. When you bring business to Antioch, it also impacts the city. So we can support entrepreneurs coming to Antioch. That means that we can support business growth right here in the city of Antioch. So I definitely plan to look at one of my policies of developing something for the city to subsidize the cost of rent for new businesses coming in.
Good. Once you ask your question, Ms. Nicole, pass it down so she can ask her question, then we go. I'll make it quick. So as a city council member, our role is policy. We create and shape policy. And so that is how we can be most effective. But the other thing that we are able to do is be out there and attract and have those conversations working with our city manager to attract the businesses that we want to see, or even talking about what incentives we can provide to those businesses that want to come to the city of Antioch. But at the core of it, as a city council member, your job is policy and how that is shaped, and working with your fellow council members to do that.
Really quick, I lobbied for small businesses for 2 years a year ago. And so one thing that I know that small businesses really want is they want to see an active city council. They want to know that the city council, that where they have their business, is actually protecting and making sure that their business is safe. When I go around talking to any small business owners, they are very frustrated with the fact that the shops are getting broken into, the windows are being busted, and the crime issues that are going on. What they want to see is a stronger police department. They want to see that. They also want to see that the city is, they want to see grant funds for cleaning up the spot as well. I want to hire several grant writers in the city for Kwame Reed in the Economic Development Department so that they can go out and go get grants so that we can have grants for facade improvements. Dominic just mentioned that a lot of our commercial buildings are under disrepair right now. The city can help with that. A lot of cities help with that. They do improve facade improvement grants. And so I want to make sure that we bring that to the city. And lastly, one thing that a small business owner also told me is said, the reason why I opened my small business in Brentwood versus Antioch, and I live in Antioch, is because Antioch offers no incentives for small business owners to move here. Every other city in the Bay Area does. And so we need to be competitive and offer similar or better incentives. Thank you.
And if you are a small business owner, there are programs in the city of Antioch that will give you funds to do revitalization of the base of your building.
And also does have, in our economic development section of the part of the city, we will have a SPDC representative here in Antioch that can assist as well.
Thanks y'all for sending us on all that information, giving us all that information. I'm sure all of you guys know that, you guys know that we don't have a shelter out here, don't have affordable housing, all that stuff. There really is nowhere for unhoused people to go in Antioch. So I just wanted to know how you felt about something recently that happened where the mayor proposed to make amendments to the current ordinance that we have, which right now, unhoused people, if they are at a car or something like that, and they're told to leave by code enforcement, they have to leave immediately. So this, the amendments that they're talking about making to this ordinance is where it includes trails, trees, and all these other places when they have nowhere to go. And that's just basically telling them, not giving them a 24-hour notice, 48-hour notice or anything, they just have to leave immediately. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that if that was something that was on the table, is that something that you would vote for? To make amendments to where unhoused people, knowing they have nowhere to go, I think y'all understand what I'm saying. I can talk about, but yeah, I think you know what I'm saying.
I can take this question first. I will say that I am in strong disagreement with Governor Newsom and the United States Supreme Court, who have both ruled that, it's okay to clear homeless encampments with nowhere to go. And as someone who's been homeless before, you legit have nowhere to go. Where are you going? You're just going to go back to where you were and find a new place to go to, right? You're not going to, and that's exactly what you're seeing when they're with these homeless encampments. There's an encampment right next to my street, Kenyatta Valley, right now, where they cleared that thing 2 times. And guess what? They already back, right? And so I've been strongly disagreeing with it in terms of specifically about the camping ordinance. I need to hear more from Mayor Hernandez-Thorpe about exactly what he plans to do, because I haven't seen any language and I haven't heard any specifics. I know that it was on the city council agenda on Tuesday. They never even talked about it because they ran out of time. But I need to hear more from them about that. Unfortunately, however, I will have to say this as somebody who's been in government for 15 years. Mayor Hernandez-Thorpe was absolutely correct when he says that he has no choice but to clear these encampments because of those orders from the governor Newsom and also the U.S. Supreme Court. These orders are also killing our justice system. That's how Prop 47 got, involved, U.S. Supreme Court involvement, right? So, these people are not thinking. You need to provide temporary housing first, and then provide the services for permanent housing. That's why earlier when I mentioned that JPA is so important. So that way we can stop running out of excuses saying, well, we just don't have the homeless shelters, right? That's not okay. We need to provide those homeless shelters immediately. The city of Walnut Creek just received $40 million to build temporary and permanent housing. Why did Antioch not get it? Because we didn't apply, right? This is important, right? These things are going on in our city. It's not doing anything about it, right? I'm pretty frustrated about it. I'm pretty angry about it because clear all the encampments you want, but they're just going to come back because there's no help. If you're not providing help, what's the point? Thank you.
You took it away then. No, but so as someone has similarly, when I was a youth, by the time I was 16, I was a high school dropout. And when we talk about what it means to be unhoused, oftentimes we think that means living in cars, bridges, maybe at a park. But for me, it was borrowing a bed, sleeping at someone's house, sleeping in someone's garage, maybe taking up space on someone's floor. So when we're addressing this idea that we can just move them and miraculously there will be a solution, I don't agree with that. And I stand with Addison saying I don't agree with the decision that our governor made, but I do understand the predicament that our city is currently in with having to abide by that. But what I take that as is an opportunity and a challenge for us to do what we have continually said that we are going to do, right? And so that is for us as a community to hold our leaders accountable and say, if this is the direction that you're going, it's time to stop passing the buck or trying to wait for the next person to do it, and we need to have some real solutions. And so I think that in part, the city of Antioch has worked towards that, but I also think we can do a better job at building those regional and sister relationships with the city. And so it takes us now to have some accountability as leaders to move forward, because it is absolutely unfair for our unhoused residents to not only be moved, but we don't recognize how what a defeating feeling that is, and how just as a person who was unhoused, to go back to what I thought was a safe space and see everything that I own completely gone without any of my permission, without giving me a second to fix one thing that was personal to me. And so we do have to have some empathy, some compassion, and now I think as a community, we need to hold our elected officials accountable to move forward and do something for our unhoused residents.
I'm going to say that my response is that we need to take action and not wait for code enforcement to show up saying you need to move. Every one of you in this room, to include city council members, can ride the streets right now and see a cabinet, and you can take action to put a policy forward to provide some option or something for the unhoused community. So before a citation is given to an encampment or let the unhoused community to move and vacate the area, we need to look for active solutions and make them happen now. That we actually put something in place before someone shows up with a citation saying you gotta move out. Clear your encampment, get out. So that way, when they have to move, we can say, hey, we're here, we're close, of course, with a citation, but also passing a pamphlet, telling them where they can go. Giving them options where they're not just like moving on to a location where there's nothing, or they're just pushing their stuff down the street to another spot to build their encampment. You're giving them options where they can actually go and have real resources. So when I say take action, come up with something now. Create a policy, create a way forward. Work with the county. County has resources, county has funding. Get that funding, bring it to Antioch. Antioch has already been doing the work. We've been doing the work constantly. We've been putting the work in as a community city council under the Mayor Hernandez door. He's been making actionable actions to make things happen. So literally, I think the next action is going to be literally work with the county to bring additional funding in, but also make sure that we're taking every possible opportunity to make sure we're showing a full effort to provide housing for everyone. So when I say take action, that means working with the community members such as yourselves today, which are also wanting something for the unhoused community. Before they kick off the streets, get a solution today for those that live in those counties. Thank you.
And we need a grant writer. We keep stressing that. The city of Antioch needs a grant writer.
The city is currently in the process of interviewing people for grant writers.
Okay. Good evening, Rio and Ranking Juntos. Thank you for this forum. And my question is, it seems that there's a lot of similarities in your position. And I'm curious if you can speak to where you differ in your policy positions from one another. And specifically for you, Ms. King, where do you differ from the rest? So I think where I differ from my opponents without fully understanding their background is just my overall commitment to the community of Antioch and the work that I've continually been doing in the city of Antioch. So I've been in here in Antioch for 10 years, and 7 going on 8 of those years, I have volunteered my time as an educational advocate, advocating for families who have students with special needs or at risk to make sure that they are receiving faith within their school district. Along with that, I actually brought the first Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America to Antioch to make sure that we were addressing our gun violence. And I was doing that when they said we didn't have a problem, and understanding the trend that we were headed in. The other part of my work is actually the community advocacy portion of that, working with community members and businesses owners to help them find funding, not only for their business, but for their nonprofits, and successfully working with a lot of our nonprofits and our businesses that are here in Antioch. The other part is being highly engaged on a civic level. I am the Parks and Recreations Chair. I was appointed to that position in 2021, and I've worked on initiatives for making sure that our parks are inclusive, working on our L Street project that is a $20 million project coming to Antioch, as well as working on our Rivertown project, which is a $5 million project to the revitalization of downtown Antioch. And finally, working on projects where we are actually renaming our parks to reflect the indigenous community that is the original owners of this land. So I think just my overall commitment to the city of Antioch and my general work is what is distinctive in nature. What differs me from my opponent? Well, I think I just listed all of that as well. I'm actively engaged. I'm not someone that just only engages in spaces where they feel comfortable. I have made a point to not only engage where I know that my community needs help and resource, but you can find me in a meeting or engaging with people that may have differing opinions than what I have in an effort to bridge that gap. And I don't believe that my opponent has done that. We have a great opportunity with the city of Antioch to move us forward together. We have sat in a space where we have felt divided, not only as individuals, but divided as a community. And so the work that I hope to continue doing is bridging that and being more collaborative to where we all feel like we have a voice here in Antioch.
Yes, go ahead. Well, I'm just gonna do the comparison. I've been asked to public administration, as has master administration. My platform is very similar to theirs. You definitely carbon copy there. We're both putting Antioch, comparatively a nice decent amount of time. Definitely both want to make Antioch a better place. But if you look at the differences, if you have to just kind of count them out, never done. I showed up in Antioch day one, trying to make a difference, and never stopped running since I showed up here in Antioch. There's a track record that proves that. I'm an entrepreneur. I've established 2 businesses here in Antioch of my own. I've also opened and worked with others to establish an additional 8 other businesses. I've worked with the federal government to establish federal budgeting that has been submitted to the legislative and been approved. I've done things with local organizations here in Antioch. Literally been appointed as president for 4 different organizations right in Antioch, to include developing my own nonprofit organization here in Antioch as well. So when it comes down to being established leadership, literally one of the organizations here in Antioch believe that I can be the president and I actually hold that position for them. But also, I went further to bring on people that support my development of my own economic development association here in Antioch, where we've given out roughly $10,000 to small grant incubators, small businesses here in Antioch. So in differences, literally, I've been in the community, I've been running, I've been nonstop involved in differences they want, and I plan to keep doing so.
So the difference between my opponents and I think Antoine, he hit on a lot of our similarities because our platform is very, very similar. But where I differ from my opponents is really about impact. Right? Antoine and Don have a lot more experience here in Antioch in terms of doing programs and services that will work in that. But in terms of actual impact, it's quite different. I went through a legislation called Dual Enrollment. This bill allows high school students to go to community colleges so that they can either, 1, buff up their resumes for their college applications, or 2, create career pathways. Currently, over 100,000 high school students in California currently take dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is actually offered here in Antioch School District right now, but the problem is, as I was speaking with the Contra Costa Labor Council, is that there is no direct connection to career pathways right now. There are thousands of job openings right now, right here in Contra Costa County, where an 18-year-old can literally go from high school while they're in high school, go to plumbing, go to HVAC, go to electrical, go take those trade courses, and literally come out making a living wage at 18 years old. Could you imagine making $50,000, $60,000 more right out of school? I know I did not make maybe $18,000 if I was lucky. So, these are things that are important. Last year, I worked with our state senator Glazer to do SB 33. This is one of our state's first in our states ever protections for small businesses against predatory lenders. You will not believe the amount of predatory lending that goes on in our small business community. Most of our small business owners, 95% of them in California, have 10 employees or less. You will not believe that the loans that these people take out. They will take out loans that are 200% or 300%. Loans that you would not be allowed to take out because there are loans protecting us as individuals to protect us from predatory folks like that. Another law that I did that is great, it's huge, and it's going over every county in California, including right here in Contra Costa County, is the Micro Enterprise Home Kitchen Operations, which allows you to start a business right now out of your kitchen with a health permit. Right now, you start a food business and make money up to $100,000. Thank you.
That was it. Well, can you continue to give a hand for our. And we thank you all for coming, and we appreciate you, and we want to remind you all that the importance of like hearing this is making sure that you exercise your right to vote, so you can vote for one of these candidates if you're able to in your district. Again, thank you all for coming to our forum tonight. Thank you to Delta Bay Community Church and Dr. Francis, who's back there on the floor. We appreciate having us to hold this, and again, to our candidates, we appreciate you taking the time and sharing, what you look forward to doing for our city. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. If you want more information, you can visit my website at DominiqueKing4Antioch.com. There are opportunities for you to sign up for our newsletter as well as volunteer. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my platform.
Yeah, you guys got your contact.
And thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. You can go to my website at electaddisonpeterson.com and sign up for any volunteer opportunities. We have a lot of them. And also, I just want to say too that I thank all the organizations here that support my candidacy. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Running for elected office is something I've always wanted to do because I've always wanted to impact the community. I really have, and that's why I've done legislation to impact so many people. It's because I really care. And if I get elected, I plan on working with every person in this room to make sure that our police department's right, our housing is affordable, and that our economic development is great, a place that we can all profit from and have fun from, and also enjoy it. So thank you all so much.
And if you want to know more about me, just go to Google and type in Antoine Webster Antioch, and I guarantee you will find everything about me. You find what I've been doing over the last 7 years here in Antioch. You find what I've been doing before that throughout my life over the last 15, 20 years. So just look me up, go to Google, type in Antoine Webster Antioch, you'll find out everything about me. To include my website, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. To include LinkedIn and above. Thank you. Yes.
Pictures out now. All right, again, thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Reimagine Antioch.
Thank you, Reimagine Antioch. Okay.
Yes. Hey, what's up? Got you. Absolutely.
Picture time.
Your phone, my phone.
She's taking a picture.
Okay.
Can't even hear me. Here, hold on. Well, she's taking a picture.
3, 2, 1.
Countdown.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right.
3 times. That's what I do.
Gotcha.
Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. East County Voices. I'm sorry we weren't on yesterday, but we made up for it today. We went over 2 hours, man. That's like the longest show we had, I think. So, but normally, yes, Thursdays, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Tune in. We're gonna have a Thursday.
Yeah, I think we will have a Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming out and share this, getting to know our future electeds. Got to stay in the know.
And remember to vote, y'all. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Good night.